Good morning. Today's topic is deadlock avoidance algorithms. What are the different types of algorithms which are used to avoid the deadlock? Here we have to use two different types of algorithms for avoidance of deadlock. First one is resource allocation graph algorithm, and second one is Banker's algorithm. One more time. First one is resource allocation graph algorithm, and second one is Banker's algorithm. Resource allocation graph algorithm is useful for single instance of resource type. We have only one instance of a particular resource type. We have to use resource allocation graph algorithm, which is not suitable for the resources having multiple instances. So for the purpose of multiple instances of resource type, we use Banker's algorithm. Okay, let's see. First one, resource allocation graph algorithm. If we have a resource allocation system with only one instance of each resource type, it is very simple algorithm. That's no problem. Just by looking at a graph, we can understand what the problem is, how we can avoid deadlock. Each resource type, resource allocation graph can be used for deadlock avoidance, right? In addition to the request and assignment edges, we introduce a new type of edge called climb edge. See, we have before we see two types of edges. Means if P2R, P2 P forward edge to R means process is requesting resource. Suppose the same edge in a reverse manner, R2 P means P having the resource type. Okay, that is request and climb edge. Climb is nothing but having or assignment edge. In addition to these two edges, here we have to see one more edge that is called a new type of edge is called a climb edge. Assignment edge, climb edge, and request edge. See, climb edge can be represented with dotted lines, which means the process needs that some resources in a future. Okay, see one more time. To avoid the deadlock, we have a prior information about the processes and the resources, then we can avoid the deadlock. Like that, here a climb edge Pi to Rj indicates, see, you observe that it is a dotted line, indicates that the process Pi may request resource Rj at some time in the future. One more time, request means it request edge, P2R request edge, R2P means climb edge, assignment edge, and Pi2 Rj with dotted lines means the process needs that resource in the near future, right? Indicates that process Pi may request resource Rj at some time in the future. This edge resembles a request edge in the direction, but is represented in the graph by a dashed lines or dotted lines. It is here also we use forward arrow. It is just like a request edge, but request edge is represented with thick line, but climb edge is represented with dotted lines. That is the difference between request edge and climb edge, right? when a process Pi request resource Rj, the claim edge Pi to Rj is converted to request edge. Okay, claim edge always represent that there is a need of that particular resource in the near future. So whenever any process requests a resource, then the claim edge is converted to a request edge, right? Similarly, when a resource Rj is released by Pi, the assignment edge Rj to Pi is converted to claim edge. So whenever after completion of using that resource, the process releases its resource, then the resource edge, then the assignment edge is converted to claim edge. Means there is a need of in future. Pi to Rj, suppose that process Pi requests a resource Rj. The request can be granted only if converting the request edge Pi to Rj to an assignment edge Rj to Pi does not result in the formation of cycle in the resource allocation graph. This is very important point. See, whenever you request a resource, if that resource is allocated to that particular process, before it must check whether that assignment forms a cycle or not. Suppose if the resource is free, the resource is free, you have to request for that particular resource. But before going to allocate that particular resource for you, it must check whether that allocation of resource to you is forms a cycle or not. Suppose if it forms a cycle, then definitely deadlock occurs. So whenever the resource is free, also it cannot assign to you or allocate to you, because if it allocates to you, then it forms a deadlock. See, if no cycle exists, then the allocation of the resource will leave the system in a safe state. Hope you know the difference between safe state and unsafe state. Okay, safe state means we cannot occur deadlock. Unsafe state means the possibility of occurring deadlock. We cannot say it cannot occur deadlock, may or may not. If cycle is found, then the allocation will put the system in unsafe state. Therefore, process P will have to wait for its request to be satisfied. For better example, we can consider the resource allocation graph. See, you observe the graph here. We consider the resource allocation graph. Suppose that here we have two processes and two resources. That P1, P2 request R2. First, resource allocation graph. P1 request R2 and having R1. P2 request R1 and in near future request R2. See, P1, P2 request R2, P1, P2 request R2, although R2 is currently free, because see here, if R2 is cannot assigned for any process, so R2 is free, currently free, we cannot allocate it to P2. So if it allocate to P2, there is a chance to form a cycle. See, this is if you observe the diagram of second unsafe state in resource allocation graph. So R2 to P2, P2 to R1, R1 to P1 and P1 to R2. So it forms a cycle. Since the action will create a cycle in the graph, a cycle indicates that the system is unsafe state. Unsafe state means it occurs a deadlock. So if P1 request R2 and P2 request R1, then see here, it allocates R2 for P1. So there is no way of occurring a deadlock. Okay, hope you understand my point. Here R2 is free. Both P1 and P2 both are request the resource R2. If you can allocate R2 for P2, it forms a cycle and occurring deadlock. So we have to allocate we cannot allocate resource R2 for process P2. So that is about if P1 request R2 and P2 request R2, we can avoid the deadlock. Okay, once again you have to observe these two diagrams. Resource allocation graph. This here we have process P1 and process P2, resource 1 and resource 2. Both P1 and P2 are requesting. Dotted lines represent climb edges, means they are requesting the resource in near future. Whenever it requests, automatically the climb edges are converted into request edge. So P1 and P2 both are requesting R2. If you can allocate R2 for P2, it forms a cycle. See a second diagram, unsafe state in resource. So cycle, how it forms cycle? R2 to P2, P2 to R1, R1 to P1, P1 to R2. So it forms a cycle. So we cannot allocate R2 for P2. So we can allocate P1. Okay. By assigning the resources like that, we can avoid the deadlock. I mean, simply say, before going to allocate any resource to a particular process, it must be checked whether it forms a cycle or not. If it forms a cycle, then definitely it stops for allocating the resource whenever the resource is free also. Okay, this is about resource allocation graph algorithm. Then comes to this is only for having a resource types of single instance. Then we go for a Banker's algorithm. See, Banker's algorithm is nothing but why we call it is as a Banker's algorithm means the logic or rule which we follow here, the same as follows by banking system. Mean suppose if your total amount is some 1 lakh amount, as per the rules of banking system, we are able to withdraw only some much amount means the minimum balance we have to maintain in the bank. So maximum amount and I mean how much amount you have to withdraw, like that. So is it possible to withdraw more than that amount whatever you have? No, because the maximum amount we have something, it is not possible to withdraw more than that. So like that, here also we have to follow the rule whatever the bank system follows. That's why we call it as a Banker's algorithm. See, the resource allocation graph algorithm is not applicable to a resource allocation system with multiple instances of each resource type. So that's what I am saying. Resource allocation graph is not suitable for the resources of multiple instances. So we go for Banker's algorithm. The Banker's algorithm is applicable to such a system The name was chosen because the algorithm could be used in a banking system to ensure that the bank never allocated its available cash in such a way that it could no longer satisfy the needs of all its customers. When a new process enters the system, it must declare the maximum number of instances of each resource type that it may need. This number may not exceed the total number of resources in the system. Then the system must determine whether the allocation of these resources will leave the system in a safe state. If it will, the resources are allocated. Otherwise, the process must wait until some other process release enough resources. See here, a new process enters into the system. It must be says that the maximum number of resources for its completes execution, and right, completes execution, that resources cannot be exceeds its maximum, right. So by knowing what are the maximum number of resources possible to execute completely by one process, we can plan to avoid the deadlock. Here we just observe data structure for bankers algorithm. See, let n is equal to number of processes and m is equal to number of resource types, right. Available vector of length m if available of j is equal to k. There are k instances of resource type rj available. Here k means the number of instances of resource type rj. I mean, k means k3 means 3 of rj means rj is a printer. We have available of 3 printers. Here k represents number of instances, means number of rj means k of rj means 3, k value 3 means 3 printers are available, or 4 scanners are available, 5 memories are available, 6 CPUs are available, like that. K is a number of instances. Here max is a variable, n into m matrix. If m max of I comma j is equal to k, then the process pi may request at most k instances of resource type rj, right. See what are the maximum number of resources needed to complete this execution of one process. Okay, simply max means what are the maximum number of resources which are needed to complete its execution of a single process. Next, allocation. It is a matrix. If allocation of I comma j is equal to k, then pi is currently allocated k instances of rj. Means maximum what are the resources needed to complete execution in the maximum. Second one is allocation. How many number of resources are allocated currently? Currently, how many number of resources are allocated? And need means maximum k. If need of ij equal to k, then pi may need k more instances of rj to complete its task. One more time, I need maximum 10 for completes to execute my process. And allocation means currently I am allocating 8. Need means max minus allocation, which gives you need, means the remaining resources which are needed to complete its execution, that is 2. Okay, maximum, allocation and need. Maximum means what are the maximum number of resources which are needed to complete its execution. Allocation means what are the resources which are currently allocated to that process. And need means what are the remaining resources which are needed to complete its execution. See, these three available means total number of available resources for the system.